just say, I mean, the 100 days, there's never been a president who has botched the first 100 days of his presidency more than Donald Trump has. And you don't have to take that as a subjective view. It's the view shown in scientific polling of the American public. The public is deeply, deeply, deeply against what Trump is doing. The Pew poll that came out this week, he's minus 19 points underwater in terms of his approval rating. If you ask the American people about what they feel about his handling of every single issue that you can poll on, he's underwater on every single one of them. And so he's been very radical in his first 100 days, and I think we knew that would be true, but I don't think we'd know that he would turn the American public, including a large portion of his own base, against him so quickly. The public would be willing again and again and again to go protest and say no and rise up against him, that he would fare so uniformly disastrously in court. He's just been clobbered in the court in dozens and dozens and dozens of cases already. So it's been a real, he's really flailed. It doesn't change his radicalism, but I think that's really the story of the first 100 days is his failure and the American public saying no to him.
Oh, this is America was the woman who went back to her abusive ex. You know what I mean? Like she got on her own, got her money right, looked good, lost weight, did Ozempic, and then she backslid, just went back to that asshole. I'm scratching my head why she did it. It's not going to work out. I thought of you today because I couldn't think of a moment that was more about the mediocrity and amoral double talk and jive of this administration than seeing far-right influencer and Russian nesting doll, Lil Tim Pool, the Beanie Baby, exposed last summer for taking up to $400,000 a month from Russian state media to spread misinformation. Today...
That's the market value of those podcasts, though. Even though I did a full mathematical breakdown, because I get roughly the same amount of downloads as his podcast, and can guarantee you that that is not the market value of what podcasts are worth. It was embarrassing, but par for the course with this administration and the way that the media is going in general. You and I have talked at length for many years about the downfall of corporate media. But I'm not surprised at all. I figured when they started to, decide that they were going to put podcasters, I think this was like a month ago, they announced that they're going to change things up in the press room. And people were asking me, oh, podcasters, AG, you should go. And I'm like, I am not who they're looking for. It's going to be the Tim Pool casts. So.
Yep. If your IQ's above room temperature, they don't want your podcast here. And this little bitch, Tim Pool, who, by the way, got really dressed up for the White House after weeks of berating Zelensky. But Blasphemy Barbie, Caroline Levitt, welcomed him as an unbiased journalist. And I just kind of feel like, at what point, Allison, will the legacy media get tired of these fuck yous to their careers and start to actually challenge this guy? At what point will the legacy media realize that capitulating to him is not helping their circulation or their ratings and actually act like the Fourth Estate and stand up to this guy? I never thought I'd see Harvard inspiring so many people.
When, I don't know, there are antitrust lawsuits that break up the monopolies that control the media. I don't see it. I don't see it changing. It's when the ultra wealthy are in charge of the news that you get on corporate media. That's what you end up with. So
yeah,
is capitulation. We've seen it in big law firms. We've seen it at some universities. We've seen it with mega corporations. But boy, you can speak with your wallet. What was the Tesla report that came out today after the markets closed is that they're down 71%.
71%. Can we talk about it a little bit without giggling too hard? Because the market has spoken, Allison. This is capitalism, and the people are not buying the products. This is like a global version of the Montgomery bus boycott. God bless the people of Germany, where Tesla has just evaporated in terms of sales. I wasn't really expecting to see overall sales down 20% and profits down 71%. I'm becoming very slowly proud of the human race again.
Yeah, and I'm also very glad about that. We see foot traffic down at Target for the past 10 weeks and sales up at Costco. because, as to a little bit of background, Target abandoned their diversity, equity, inclusion programs, and Costco doubled it down on their diversity, equity, inclusion programs. And I think that that matters to consumers. And now that we have apps that tell us which corporations and which companies are spending money on which politicians, I think that people can make more informed decisions that way. And it appears to be working. Well, the the hit to the profits is working. We'll see what the response is, right?
I think we have it. I mean, we now have Elon Musk announcing that he's decided to step back from Doge a little bit and
But I thought he wasn't in charge of
uh,
Doge.
oh, well, he's not in charge of it. He's barely there, but now he's only going to be in charge of it 2 days a week. He's going to dedicate more time to Tesla, he said, um, which is hilarious. Like he got told off in
But
text
John,
by the
Amy
shareholders
Gleason is
last
the
month.
administrator of Doge. It's not, it's right.
But not last week we had Elon coming out against tariffs. Like I thought Donald Trump would break up with this dude first, but Elon is putting so much space there right now because he can smell how rancid his $250 million investment is. So first he says don't I'm not in on these tariffs. That's just him. I'm not me. And now he's saying, well, I'm only going to help dismantle the government 2 days a week. He's walking away from it, Allison. Homeboy's terrified. I mean, are we getting a lesson in punching the bully in the face?
I hope so. I hope so. And I what I hope more is that I don't think the legacy media is going to do this, but shows like yours bring that to light, right? Like shine a light on that. I don't know that a lot of people know that that's happening. That we have punched the Nazi in the face, and we're gonna about to see what's going to happen with it. I don't know how closely the majority of the electorate is kind of following that. Do you know what I mean?
Of course I do. I don't know how much they are either, but I do know Wall Street assholes are following it. And I kind of feel like what's Donald Trump going to do once he loses the rich white people? Once he loses the capitalists, Allison, which I think has been happening for the last week. I mean, it doesn't really matter if the stocks are bouncing back up from a incredible low. I kind of feel like these meat puppets overshot their wad and they're not going to be able to get back a certain slice of Wall Street after this stunt they pulled.
If you're a CEO and you didn't see this coming before the election and speak up and speak out, then you are about as qualified as Pete Hegseth to be in charge of the secretary, to be in charge of the Pentagon. I or if you didn't see the stock short come from the White House, that economists were surprised or are surprised by what's going on in the economy. It just blows my mind. Like, who the fuck am I? I told dick jokes for 10 years and I saw this coming.
Right? Exactly.
That means I am qualified to be the CEO of Walmart and the Secretary of Defense, dual-hatted.
I'd like to say that I read teleprompter much better than Pete Hegseth ever did, so I think I'm qualified to be Secretary of Defense, and I also will promise to stop drinking if I get in there. Allison, what's going to last longer? Pete Hegseth in the Pentagon or a package of cottage cheese in a refrigerator with the power out? Which one will last longer? Dairy
Has the
products?
milk and the cottage cheese been inspected by the FDA?
There is no more milk inspections by the FDA. It's called freedom, lady.
Then it's a close call. It's a close call, man. If the cottage cheese hasn't been inspected, then I give them about the same amount of time.
When this guy Uliot came out and released his blistering missive against Pete Hegseth, his former friend, and talked about, and this is not a left-wing guy, this is another Nazi talking about how their hair is on fire and it's all a mess. Hegseth shows up on the White House lawn. If you haven't seen the footage of Hegseth screaming about Russia hoax, just to see how confused and scared his own children look, you've got to see it. It's amazing. I felt that Uliot releasing that statement really was creating a permission structure to fire this guy in the first 100 days. Because tell me if you think I'm crazy. There's no way Susie Wiles wasn't in on that. There's no way Susie Wiles didn't know that this "you've got to fire Hegseth" missive was coming.
Hell no. And this is probably controlled opposition for a fall guy. The fact that these are Hegseth's friends and they just so happen to be the people who were frog walked out of the Pentagon, and we just so happen to get all this tea on Signal Gate too. Like, come on. I'm sorry. This is how to get Hegseth out of that job. Now, while I am going to be celebrating the fact that Hegseth is no longer in charge of the military, I am also scared shitless as to who will replace him.
Oh, hey there, it's Stephanie Miller. If you're like me and you love sharp political insight, pointy, you like it pointy and sharp, bold opinions, and a touch of humor to make sense of these crazy times, have I got some fantastic news for you. The Political Voices Network is now on Substack. This is your new go-to for the best in independent media. We're talking about my show streaming daily with episodes on demand, the fearless of journalism of Brian Karem, the brilliant side-splitting satire of John Fugelsang, the unrelenting working class advocacy of Rick Smith, and so much more. Here's the best part. Subscribing is so easy. You can join for free or go to the extra mile. Support these incredible independent voices by signing up for a full subscription starting at just $8. You'll get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and a chance to directly fuel fearless, unfiltered media. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to politicalvoicesnetwork.com, hit that subscribe button, and become part of the movement keeping truth alive in an era of corporate media overload. Every subscription helps, especially yours. One more time, that is politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Sign up now. Do it.